What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you'll find out what the Fukushima's going on.
And aloha, America. Welcome to our show today. It's Monday, March 13th, 2017. Here, more and more people are beginning to look at this bugging of the Trump campaign headquarters as saying very clearly this is at least the equivalent of Nixon's Watergate, if not more so. And I tend to think more so. Now, of course, Obama's supporters, defenders, John McCain even are out there saying, you can't make that accusation without evidence. We demand to see the evidence here and now, or you must withdraw your accusation. Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to find out what Trump has so that they know what evidence they have to compromise, what judges they have to blackmail, what witnesses they have to murder before this thing comes up for investigation. But Trump is holding his cards close to his chest, as well he should. Apparently the White House is bringing on some additional lawyers to look into this matter. Jeff Sessions is talking about he's going to appoint independent counsels to look into all of this stuff and not let Congress take it and spin it 6 ways from Sunday here. Now, Dennis Kucinich, I think we mentioned this on Friday, has gone public saying, yes, he supports Trump's assertion of wiretapping. It happened to me, too. And apparently, back in 2010, when he was opposed to the Obama invasion of Libya, Kucinich found himself under surveillance. And I know wiretapping is an archaic term. I've gotten emails about that. The methods may change, but the idea, the intent is still the same. No, they don't actually go out and put alligator clips on wires anymore. The eavesdropping system is actually built into the phone system, and it was done all the way back in 2000 by an Israeli company called Converse Infosys, who is suspected of having a back door left into the system so that they can use it to eavesdrop on people's telephones here in the United States of America. There's also other things. There's radio bugs, there's laser mics, there's microwave mics. It doesn't matter what they do or what tools they use. It's the idea that the Obama administration was bugging the campaign headquarters of a candidate for President of the United States of America, and information gleaned from those bugs, those taps, somehow, mysteriously found its way to the Hillary Clinton campaign. I'm sure it was just the little magic elves in the dead of night who were doing all of that work. But it is a new Watergate, and like the original Watergate, it's probably going to take a while for this to come on out. Now, Cheryl Atkinson, who's a former corporate media reporter, and she's been on the outs for actually daring to tell the truth, basically saying that her computers were being hacked into when she was trying to report on some of the things going on with the Obama administration. Her computer would turn on and off by itself. Files would delete all by themselves, and apparently she had some forensics experts look at the computers just to make sure she wasn't doing something wrong and being silly, and the forensics experts said, yes, without question, your computer has been entered from outside. Now, good old Judicial Watch has stepped on in. They're suing Obama's Department of Justice and the CIA for illegally investigating General Flynn and President Trump. And so good for Judicial Watch. They are doing yeoman's work. They have been all throughout the years trying to deal with some of this stuff, and so good for them with what's going on down there. And, of course, those of us who've been at the forefront of trying to get the word out about what our government is really like are now vindicated once again. The WikiLeaks release confirms what all of us in the independent media have known for years. They're still trying to call us conspiracy theorists. I think at this point, if you want to still use that word, we're conspiracy factists. Because, yes, Virginia, there are conspiracies, and we are finding them out there. Now, they're still trying to find some way they can shift the blame and make this all look like somebody outside was doing all this. And over at the Express in Great Britain, they're running this story, Russia behind the latest CIA data breach on Julian Assange's WikiLeaks. And they actually did a trial balloon on this one last week as well. But I want to give you a little bit of common sense, and I'm going to do that by virtue of a lesson from history. When Bletchley Park broke the Nazi Enigma code, the fact that it was broken was classified as ultra top secret. Because had Germany known Enigma was broken, they would have simply changed the system and Bletchley Park would have had to start all over again. The fact that the Allies were able to read the Nazi traffic was one of the most highly classified secrets of the war. And even after the war, the fact that the U.S. and Great Britain could read Enigma messages was still classified because the United States and Great Britain made presents of captured Enigma machines to friendly governments to use, not knowing that the U.S. and U.K. could read the encrypted messages. Now, the same applies here. If Russia had broken into the CIA and gathered all this data on their capability, they would never, ever reveal it. Because they would want the CIA to go on using the same systems Russia knows about and could evade when necessary, rather than have the CIA or NSA start changing things around. So on the basis of this simple lesson from history and some common sense, Russia is not the source of the WikiLeaks information. This claim is just more Russia bashing from a corporate media whose motto seems to be, if at first you don't succeed, lie, lie again. Now, according to former CIA Deputy Director Mike Morrell, he is saying that as far as he can tell, this Vault 7 is an inside leak. And he's saying, absolutely, this was leaked from inside to Julian Assange. It's like Edward Snowden, the sequel. And it certainly reads like that with the sheer volume of documents they've got here. So far, 8,000 have been released. There are rumors that more are coming tonight or tomorrow, specifically focusing on Angela Merkel. And these documents are detailing the crimes of the CIA, and the corporate media won't touch them. Of course, the corporate media is part of the problem. Because of Operation Mockingbird, all corporate media in the United States is under the direct control of the CIA, so of course they're not going to report on any of this stuff. Of course they're going to attack anybody pushing the story as a tinfoil hat-wearing, wingnut kook conspiracy wacko. You don't want to listen to them. Listen to the CIA. We're a swell bunch of Joes. Just look at those Harrison Ford movies and read the Tom Clancy books. That's what we're really all about. And if you believe that, I have some of Saddam's nuclear weapons to sell you on that one. Now, Ron Paul is out there saying that these leaks are a good thing, because when the intelligence community behaves illegally, they ought to be exposed. Leaks are essential to freedom and democracy. And whoever did leak this understood that Snowden went through the same thing. What we're doing is wrong morally, illegally. It could actually cause more problems in the long run. And somebody else has now reached their breaking point as well. And Ron Paul says they're doing a good thing. I heartily agree. Now, with the revelation of the CIA's Umbrage group, which stole hacking tools from other countries in order to hack into computers and lay a false trail to a third party, primarily Russia and China, people are now looking past the obvious fingerprints on hacking attacks, and they're finding other indicators. And apparently Assange on his live stream was talking about how they're going to give the tech companies all of these CIA hacking tools in order that they can be blocked. And apparently an antivirus expert approached WikiLeaks to say that the attacks previously blamed on Russia, China, and Iran now do track back to the CIA once you look past that first frame-up level of artificial fingerprints. So the evidence is pointing that all of this stuff was the CIA. And maybe that's why the Department of Homeland Security was trying to break into all those voting databases to use those CIA tools, those stolen Russian hacking tools, to say, see, Russia hacked the election, Russia hacked the election, Trump out, Hillary in. And they failed miserably because they weren't able to actually get into those voter databases. Now, somebody was asking Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov about the CIA hacking, and he just breaks into laughter. And he's saying, where do I begin? And basically he says that when he goes on any kind of negotiations or anything, he leaves his phone at home. When they go into the meeting room, everybody leaves their cell phones outside. Those cell phones are your enemy. They are not your friend. All those wonderful things in there, like sensitive microphones and cameras, you're allowed to use them, but the reason they're there primarily is so the government can watch you and keep eye on you. Might be a good time to consider getting a privacy case, since you can't take the batteries out of most of these phones. All you can do is shield them, or leave them in your car, or even leave them at home if you want a little bit of privacy here. Now, remember how that one FISA warrant, or the earliest accusation that Trump was communicating with Russia, involved a Trump server in communication with a Russian bank. And the story is getting murkier and murkier because, first of all, it turned out that server did not actually belong to Donald Trump. It was being used to host a bogus Trump website. It was over at GoDaddy, and they sent some traffic back and forth to this bank, which appeared to be little more than just, "Hi, how are you? What's your cost for a savings deposit box" kind of thing. And that manufactured trail was the basis for this accusation that Trump and Russia is working together. Now it's turning out that that server over at GoDaddy didn't even reach to Russia, but in fact was communicating with CIA's Frankfurt spy headquarters. And they were pretending to be the Russian server. The internet traffic wasn't even real to begin with. The story is just all falling